Chris Flynn was a young medical student traveling through the mountains of West Virginia on his way to an important job interview. His journey seemed normal at first, but everything changed when a traffic jam blocked the highway because of a chemical spill. Wanting to save time, Chris decided to take a shortcut through the forest roads. The isolated road looked quiet and peaceful, but hidden deep within those woods was something terrifying. At the same time, a group of college friends had gone camping in the mountains. Jesse Burlingame, Carly, Scott, Evan, and Francine were enjoying their trip and hiking through the forest. They laughed, joked, and planned to spend a relaxing weekend away from the city. None of them knew that the forest was home to a family of savage cannibals who hunted anyone unlucky enough to enter their territory. As Chris sped down the narrow road, he suddenly crashed into another vehicle parked in the middle of the road. The collision damaged both cars badly. The second vehicle belonged to Jessie and her friends. They had stopped because their tires had been mysteriously punctured with barbed wire hidden on the road. The accident immediately created tension between Chris and the group, but they soon realized they were stranded far away from civilization with no cell phone signal. While Scott and Evan stayed behind with the damaged cars, Chris and the others decided to search for help. They walked through the thick forest until they discovered a strange cabin hidden among the trees. The place looked old, dirty, and abandoned. Animal bones and unpleasant smells filled the area, making everyone uncomfortable. Still, they hoped someone inside could help them. The group entered the cabin cautiously. Inside, they found disturbing signs that something was very wrong. There were jars filled with strange body parts, old rusty weapons, and horrifying trophies hanging on the walls. Before they could fully understand the danger, they heard noises outside. Terrified, they quickly hid upstairs. 3 deformed mountain men entered the cabin. These creatures were horribly disfigured because of years of inbreeding and isolation. They were known as Three Finger, Sawtooth, and One Eye. The cannibals carried the mutilated bodies of Scott and Evan, revealing that the two friends had already been brutally murdered. The killers began chopping the bodies apart for food while Chris and the others watched silently from upstairs, trying not to scream. The scene terrified everyone. Francine became overwhelmed with fear and accidentally made noise. The cannibals immediately realized intruders were hiding in the house. Panic exploded as Chris and the group escaped through a window and ran into the forest. The mountain men chased them with frightening speed and knowledge of the terrain. The survivors spent the night trying to escape through the dark woods. Every sound around them increased their fear. Chris slowly became the leader of the group, helping everyone stay calm and focused. Jesse also showed courage despite being terrified. Together, they tried to find a road or any sign of civilization. During their escape, the cannibals attacked again and again. Francine was captured and killed in a horrifying way, leaving the remaining survivors traumatized. Carly and Jesse became emotionally shattered, realizing they were being hunted like animals. The forest itself seemed designed to trap them. The next morning, the group encountered an old watchtower deep in the woods. Believing it could help them signal for rescue, they climbed to the top. For a brief moment, hope returned. Chris used a radio found in the tower to call for help, but before rescue could arrive, the cannibals attacked once again. One Eye climbed the tower and fought viciously with the survivors. Chris managed to kill him by causing the tower to collapse in flames. Although they eliminated one of the killers, the others were still alive and hunting them relentlessly. The survivors eventually discovered a remote cabin belonging to an elderly park ranger. The ranger explained that strange disappearances had happened in the mountains for years. He suspected dangerous men lived in the forest but never imagined the true horror. Before he could fully help them, the cannibals attacked the cabin. The ranger was brutally murdered, proving nobody was safe. Chris, Jesse, and Carly escaped once more and stole a truck to flee the mountains. They believed they had finally survived. But the cannibals pursued them through the forest roads in another vehicle. A deadly chase followed, ending when Chris forced the cannibals' truck off the road. The vehicle crashed violently, seemingly killing the remaining killers. Exhausted and traumatized, the survivors finally reached safety. Police and emergency workers arrived, and Chris, Jesse, and Carly were taken away from the nightmare. They had survived unimaginable terror, but the experience would haunt them forever. However, the horror was not truly over. In the final moments of the story, another group of travelers unknowingly entered the same forest. Hidden in the darkness, one of the cannibals was still alive, watching and preparing for another hunt. The mountains remained cursed, and new victims were already approaching. Wrong Turn became famous because of its intense suspense, brutal survival scenes, and terrifying forest atmosphere. The movie showed how ordinary people can become trapped in unimaginable horror when they enter the wrong place at the wrong time. Chris transformed from an ordinary traveler into a determined survivor, while Jessie proved her strength under terrifying pressure. The Cannibal family became iconic horror villains because of their frightening appearance and ruthless brutality. The film mixed slasher horror with survival adventure, creating constant tension from beginning to end. Every moment in the forest felt dangerous, and viewers never knew who would survive. The isolated setting made the story even scarier because there was no easy escape and no one nearby to help. Even years after its release, Wrong Turn remains one of the most memorable backwoods horror films. Its terrifying atmosphere, shocking kills, and relentless chase scenes made it a favorite among horror fans around the world.